Hey cuties, my name is Dan. This is my channel, That Good Tarot, where we do timeless readings for anyone with any placements. If you've made your way to this reading, I do believe there is a message in here for you. However, if you don't resonate with this reading, that's cool, that's chill. Go check out my channel. There are so many other readings there, and I'm sure you'll find something that fits you. So we had a pretty big download come in. Ooh, which one are we going to go with? We're going to go with the first download. We're going to do them in order. It's definitely a big tarot directed download. This one very much wants a lot of cards to be pulled. Okay. I just had to clean my camera lens. Okay. So firstly, the message coming through was it is time to clean house. Like, this has got a lot to do with like, yeah, okay, it's time to cleanse the space that you're in, but it's also like, it's time to move on. Like, why aren't you letting yourself move on from this thing? Now, this comes from this whole idea that like, sometimes we self-sabotage in a way where, like if we don't do the dishes or something like that, like if we don't completely clean our space, it actually creates all these tiny little tasks between you and you doing the thing that you want to do. Because you can't do the thing that you want to do because, oh, you have to do the dishes, or I have to clean the bathroom, or there's a huge pile of clothes in my room. Like, it just gives you little tasks that are kind of like obstacles. So there's one way of self-sabotaging is not keeping a clean space. This was actually brought up when I was listening to the book The Mountain Is You. Drop down into the comments, wave hello if you've read that book or listened to that book on Spotify, audiobooks, wherever you listen to your books, if you listen to your books. But it came through in the download that like, what are you not cleaning out of your life in terms of like emotionally and mentally and spiritually? What are you not letting go of because you are afraid of what will happen when that space is clean, when that space is clear, when your desk is clear and there is nothing between you and doing what you want to do? That can be a really scary thing. That's the reason why we put obstacles in the way, so we never get to that point where we're sitting in that discomfort of like, okay, now there really is nothing stopping me from doing what I want to do. Is part of you in some way, shape or form afraid of not having to work or get over this thing? Because once you do, you have to fully realize a version of yourself that you want to realize, but you are afraid of realizing, afraid of manifesting, afraid of becoming. Are you somewhat living in the fear of what could happen if you didn't have this thing that you had to work through? Is that one of the reasons why you are not letting go? Not because you aren't ready to, but because you're scared of what will happen when you don't have this thing that defines you. For a lot of people, it can be some type of trauma. And I don't want to say that like it's the reason why you won't let go, but it can definitely, add to the list of ways that we self-sabotage. It's by being like, no, I won't be able to do this until I fully move through this thing. And if you never fully move through it, you never have to get to the next stage. We have the Seven of Cups, we have the King of Wands, and we have the Three of Swords. You did the hard thing. You did the really hard thing. You moved away. You made the separation happen. You moved towards things that are better for you. But we have the Six of Cups here. There is so much nostalgia at play. There is this practice, this mental practice of like reliving and replaying things, recontextualizing, and like I've talked about it before, it's a good process and it's a process that needs to happen, but we're going to get some more insight and information into this. Like, how do we make sure that we can move through all of these emotions and fully feel all of these repressed feelings, the ones that we need to feel, and make sure that we are not kind of just replaying it to keep reliving it so that we feel we're still stuck in it, if we are well and truly ready to let go. Is your mind replaying it because that's a practice? Universe plays inside information into the Six of Cups energy. I'll get back into that King of Wands energy in a second. It's calling back to me. Thank you. We have the Strength, we have the World, we have the Ace of Cups. It's time for you to start making new memories. It's time for you to have new focuses. It's time for you to pull yourself out of the world you used to be in and insert yourself in the world that you deserve to live in, the world that revolves around you. There is definitely this part of you that needs to be tamed, and that part of you is the part of you that felt comfort in the places that were toxic, felt comfort in the places that were unhealthy. And that part of you, even though you're out of the toxic situations, even though you're out of the unhealthy environments, still craves the comfort of being there. So it is kind of partially mentally like placing you into that place. And in the same way that you couldn't move on while you were in that situation, while you were in that environment, you won't be able to move on if you're stuck in the state of like, and now I'm still getting through that, and now I'm still moving past that. At a certain point, you do need to move past that. And I'm not trying to push on that. This very much is just a message of like, and that has to come to a close. Because sometimes we're in that healing process so long, we get adjusted to that. That becomes the new normal. The whole new normal of like living in a socially anxious state, or feeling constantly worried about all of these bad things happening to you, replaying all of these memories that make you feel like you still have so much work ahead of you. You've actually done so much. You may not be healed all the way, but you're ready to start inhabiting a new space, inhabiting a new reality. This message has been coming through as well. I feel like a lot of the messages, especially in the last reading as well, last reading was one of my favorite readings that I've ever done. So if you haven't checked that out, definitely go and check that out. But if you're resonating with this, you'll resonate with that for sure. But that one went much more into the healing and how you are ready to let that be your past. Like really let it be your past, like a blip. Like how you saw high school, if you are like, you know, way past high school or like in your 20s. At a certain point, high school just starts to feel like a thing that happened, and your memories are really blurry, and the grudges, the upsets, the hurt that happened at the time, it doesn't really affect you anymore. That's where we want your last chapter to sit, like way back in your past in a way that it doesn't affect you. I feel like for a lot of you right now, you can't even think of a world where this doesn't affect you. This pain that you have moved through, this disconnect that you've had to go through. That seems like such a foreign idea, that not affecting you anymore. But it's going to get to that place, and this message is just validating that needs to happen. You need to let yourself be a new person, because that's all that you have wanted, is this rebirth, is this opportunity to redefine yourself, this opportunity to realize your potential away from the influences that would drag you down, the influences that would project a false image onto you. That's really everything that you've wanted. It's time to let that happen. And the things that are stopping that from happening is being in a perpetually like stuck in this healing / triggered state. Now again, I really want to reinforce that, like, I'm not trying to rush the process. Just the awareness of the goal. The goal here is to move through it. Take the time that you need to, but know that you are trying to move through it to the point where it is behind you. It's going to take the time that it needs. But sometimes I feel like when we get so caught up in the healing process, we don't even understand what the end goal is. you just go back into a survival state where you're just 11, where you're just trying to survive while healing. And that's fair enough. Healing's hard. Healing's hard when it's a lot of re-triggering, a lot of relearning, a lot of realizing your internal fears and then trying to rewrite the narratives that you have about love, trust, social dynamics, and in a way going through some kind of exposure therapy, trying to experience new people and learning how to trust them. It's hard. I wouldn't blame you if in amidst all of that, you did go back into a survival mode, because it can be really, really hard to heal and we can get stuck in the healing process just trying to survive. This message is just to be a reminder of what is at the end of the tunnel, to move past it. I feel like for some of you, there might be certain things that you have definitely moved past, but maybe you have practices, places that you go, things that you listen to that kind of pull you back into a re-triggered state that's very indulgent and very unnecessary. And your subconscious does it to keep you comfortable. Your subconscious does it to keep you in this state, because our body, our mind doesn't like change. It doesn't like it. It's fighting it in every way. So acknowledge the ways that you are triggered back into a state. I know that for me, it was like there are certain genres of like YouTube videos that I would watch and consume at a certain time when I was like really, really down and in the dark. And sometimes for some reason, something in me will come up where I just want to go back and watch those things. And it will subconsciously like pull me back into that state, even though everything in my world is fine. It's such a habit. It's my way of trying to like regulate how I'm doing, because my mind wants to go back to something comfortable, not good, not healthy, comfortable. And that's what I did. And something that I've had to do to make sure that my practices are changing, my habits are changing, is just making sure that I don't consume that. And there's actually nothing wrong with like those particular TV shows and that particular content. It's just that it is so linked with the time of my life and a mental state that everything around me, what I do when I'm consuming that content, what I'm thinking about, the things that are triggered within me, the way that I physically hold myself, these are things that are brought back when I'm in that pattern of doing that. And these are the things that need to change and let go. Man, sometimes I just say things when I'm doing readings. I'm like, who is saying it? Your guides, not me. What is happening? Okay, let's get back into this King of Wands energy, because I'm feeling really called to bring it up. This is the place that you disconnected from. We have the Page of Wands, we have the High Priestess, we have the King of Wands, the Queen of Wands. There are so many parts of you for such a long time that have gone on a journey to listening to your intuition. It's been small voices, it's been big voices, it's been synchronicities, but what has guided you has been this intuitive voice. Now, I feel like this is coming up because this is such a strong guiding light for you. This is such a path for you. I do feel that in the midst of your survival mode, while you're healing and moving through all of it, it's really, really hard to know what's your intuitive voice and what's your survival voice. So you might be feeling lost and confused between those things, and you might have felt like, no, at a certain time I knew exactly what I needed to do, and now maybe you're just feeling very confused. You're feeling very like... almost like concerned. Did I do the right thing? Was this voice, leading me in the right direction? Because now I don't know if this voice is leading me at all. And like, it's there. There are some, louder things at play, especially when you're in survival mode and you're getting triggered in big ways and small ways. We have the Devil, the Sun, Judgment, Eight of Pentacles and the Hermit. Your intuition led you to a point where it needed to shout at you, like so loudly. That's why your intuition may have felt like you were more in tune with it when you were making this big separation or making this big life change. You may have felt like you were really, really tapped into your intuition. You were about as tapped in as you always are. It's just at that moment, it was shouting at you, like legit shouting at you. And now it's speaking to you a lot more gently, and it's speaking through your work. It's speaking through your everyday. It's speaking through your practices. Now, this is why I bring back to why you need to be mindful of what it is that you practice. Now, this could be your art. This could be your discipline, but I really do feel like we're honing in on the things that you consume and the ways that you spend your time. Because if you are falling back into practices that you did when you were around this devil energy, when you were around the toxic places, you're kind of like putting yourself back in that place. You need to establish new patterns, new practices, new places, new ways of holding yourself, new ways of speaking about yourself in order to help the shift. Because just like you were trapped in this devil energy where you left, like the places that you left, you could just as easily get trapped in this survival state of the healing process. You need to create really nice, easy, gentle ways for you to create new practices. I really recommend that, like, do it slowly, do it super slowly, do it super gently. And we have the Hermit here as well. Here we have this Hermit looking at the light. What I really feel like this reading is all about is just reminding you of what the goal is. The goal is to move through it. I feel like I'm saying a lot of different things that are, some practical things to help you move through that in terms of the way that you're practicing your day-to-day to help the shift. But this message really just is about you remembering why you did what you did and what the goal is. The goal is to set you free. Keep that in mind as you are moving through this. Keep that in mind as you are working through these hard things. Keep that in mind when you are going back to your old habits that you've had for years, decades. You're trying to move through this. Start creating new things for yourself. Start finding new ways to react to stimuli. Try putting yourself into some new places. Know that I have no doubt that your healing process, every part of that is justified, but what might be playing a part is that you wouldn't know what to do with yourself if you were healed. In the same way that when you're stuck in a toxic situation, you wouldn't know what you would do if you were not in that situation. You wouldn't know what you would do without that person, without these friends, without this family member, without all of these people. We think, well, what would I do without them? And then you're out of that situation and you're like, I'm free. But you have so much that you have to work through. And then sometimes in that process, we get stuck because we think, well, what would I do? What would I do if I was healed? And isn't that terrifying? What would you do if you were healed? And I know it's an exciting thing. Well, if I was healed, I would do this and that and the other. Okay. But like, let's say that you were and you got to do all of those things. That's on you. It's on you to chase your dreams. It's on you to dress the way you want to dress, talk the way you want to talk, go and get the opportunities that you want to get for yourself. That can be terrifying. That can be terrifying a little bit. So, yeah, that's what this message was about. Let's pull some oracle cards. I'm ready to get into this other download. because there's a bit more fire in that one. And I feel this reading, even for me, it can be a hard thing to hear. So, you know, I want to treat this with as much empathy as I can, because even when I got this download come through, I'm like, that's a really hard thing to hear. Because when you're in the healing process, you don't want to think that you're keeping yourself there or you're keeping yourself away from something that you are like trying so hard to get towards. But maybe there is part of you that is slowing the process or not letting go, not for any other reason than like, what would we do if we did? What would we do if we were healed? Okay. Universe, please, insight and information for this beautiful collective. What do they need to know as they are moving through this process? Oh, while I'm here, so I made YouTube partner recently. Yeah, so I can offer memberships now, and I'm thinking like, yeah, the only people that I would want to maybe potentially get memberships are people that have made it to this part of the video. So that's why I'm talking about it now. I don't know what to offer for memberships though. So I was thinking, I love your feedback, but I was thinking just like maybe a couple more like members only videos. Have you guys maybe like take a poll on what kind of readings you'd like to hear, so that'd be a little bit more specific and you guys can have a say in like what energy is it from your future self, is it from your guides, is it related to this, that, or the other, or any energies. I'll put some options up and you guys can vote, and then I can do a reading on that. But I also think I'll maybe, if I do it, I would offer like monthly giveaways to the members for personal readings, and that way the members have a higher, like they get a chance every month to win a free reading, and there's a lot less people who are like in the running for it, and hopefully, who knows, like everyone gets a turn if I do like the monthly giveaways for the members. Let me know what you guys think about that. Members only live. Oh yeah, I did a live the other day. We're starting to do the lives. It's really hard because I want to do the morning journaling sessions with you. Do you know what time it is in Australia? If I want to do a morning session for y'all that are in the US, it's midnight. It's midnight is your morning time. So I'm trying to figure out a time that would like appropriately work for you guys and for me. So I'll keep you posted, but in the meantime, if you happen to catch one of my lives, they're just going to be a little bit messy, a little bit haphazard, but if you jump on, it just looks like I kind of do personal readings for me and the like few people that are on there, because it's basically my day ones that jump on those lives while I'm like figuring everything out. So if you happen to catch me there, you'll probably get a few cards pulled for you, so I'd love to see you there while I'm figuring out the time zones and all of that stuff. Okay, let's do it. Ooh, the Voyager, return home, lessons, realizations. It's okay to forget and then remember all over again. And then the next message is the portal. Are you ready? Adventure ancestors calling. What a perfect way to sum up this reading. I think we need to treat it with so much forgiveness. Having a fear of not having this big thing to work through. Having something traumatic that you need to heal through is such a huge obstacle that our subconscious can place between ourselves and our highest self, our highest potential, our dreams. It is such an effective way of self-sabotaging. And I'm not saying that you don't absolutely need the time to heal. We absolutely do. Like, I'm so there with you. But we can forget where we're going in amongst it all, and that's okay. That's okay. This message here is just to remind you where you're going. It's okay to forget and then remember all over again. We also have here the portal. Are you ready? This message is a guiding light and an invitation. A reminder of why you did what you did, where you're going, what you're trying to aim for, and an invitation to get there, to start the process, to let go and let in the next era of your life, yourself. Okay. Universe, please. Last oracle card. Last oracle card. Okay. A few. Okay. We have wait, postpone, pause, say no. Unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. Trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? And don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? A few things coming through in this message. When it comes to no, we are really talking about boundaries. We are saying no to the things, the practices, the actions, and the people that kept us and drained us and put us in that place. It's drawing lines around what you will accept now and what you won't. It's saying no to those inner urges of like, oh, do you just want to sit down and watch this TV show? Like you did for the last 10 years. Your comfort show that got you through all your dark times. Are you in your dark times now? Do you need to be watching that show? If you have something that is so tied to you getting through a hard time and you start to have that back in your world when you're not going through a dark time, you will subconsciously slip back into that mental state. These are the things that are very quiet and they're things that are beautiful because they've helped you through bad times, but you're not going through a bad time. You're healing and you're growing and you're moving forward with your light. These are the things that you say no to, not forever. They can be there to help you if you're going through a dark time again, but like don't bring that ish back if you're fine. It's a very subtle, soft retriggering that happens when we do that. We have unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, past lives, releasing past lives, releasing patterns. This is exactly it. It's time to release it. It's time to release this now. Trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay if you move forward healed. You're actually going to be fine. You're going to be amazing. Trust that you, after everything, if you can handle that toxic situation and move out of it, if you can handle this healing and all the retriggering and having to rewrite narratives about whether or not you can trust people, if you can handle all of that, you can handle being healed. You can handle everything that comes after this. I promise you that. Don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? I'm going to leave you with that. How are you dimming your light to fit in? Tell me down below how you're dimming your light. Who are you dimming your light for? Who's afraid of your light? Who are you scared is going to feel bad if you start shining so bright? Tell me down in the comments below. Tell me what you think about the memberships and stuff like that. I feel like if I do it, it's going to be like $3 a month, $5 a month. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy, but we'll see. We'll see. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I will see you in the next reading.